Mr. Larkin, um, who are your mentors, sir? Who were they? Who are they? And how have they influenced you? Please.
Hey, this is easy. My first mentor would be my father, and he was growing up. He was a fireman, so he was my hero. He worked while he was a fireman, and invited over the Irish kids that played basketball. You never saw a 7-foot Irishman, but the girls could play, and and we had 10 of them come over on basketball scholarships through the years, and each one of those girls has been my older sister. Some of them, as I got older, are my younger sisters, and he never had a daughter. So it's a pretty cool dynamic. Now their kids are they go see Uncle Mike. But he taught me the values that I persist with and brought it over to my business, which is we're able to do. We're loyal to our clients and staff, and we seek lifelong friendships every single day. That's how I live my days. As far as the car business, my first mentor in the car business, I never sold a car in my life, is Paul Meyer. And he'll remember 2020 NADA. I wasn't there, but I was on your phone, and I was following you around NADA. And what came after that was COVID, but we never thought it was going to be COVID on that day. So my first mentor in the car business is Paul Meyer. I love you, guy. And he's like a brother from another mother. And then onward, all you guys in this room have been my mentors, because I wouldn't have been able to gain the knowledge and the experience without you. You've all added something to my knowledge base, and I'm continuing to learn about this crazy industry called the car industry. So I'm Mike, and I'm dropping my mic. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You're starting to find out what it's like to deal with the dealers after all these years.
Starting to.
And having a blast with it.
I guess I better jump in with some mentors. Before I do that, I want to note the passing of two musical giants. We lost Sly Stone 2 days ago, and we just lost Brian Wilson. Crazy how essential these people were to music and what they did. My mentors, I'm like you guys and ladies. I'm influenced by everybody all the time. A lot of the things you said rang with me, because you can learn and benefit more from a bad experience. A bad mentor can teach you more than a good one, because if you're smart, you go, that behavior is horrible, I never want to do that, or I want to be better than that, or I want that to spur me on. I'll stick some family stuff first. I had a grandfather that was so family oriented that he kept, my mother had one brother, he had a big family, my mom had kids, and when he was alive, when my grandmother was alive, they tied everything together. When they passed, we're still all friendly, but we became much more fragmented, because there was no longer, hey, it's the summer, we're going down the shore being Atlantic City, to our grandparents' house. They had a giant house. He and I'll never forget, he was older, and somebody asked him, how do you feel? And he said, I always feel great when I'm with my family. It's crazy how you get older, you pine for things, and just that feeling of real family, where you're so tied in. Just a really strong, wonderful guy. My father, I learned a lot of things from my father, and I think a lot of my fearlessness comes from my father. Because my father, whatever it was, he was willing to take a shot. And man, anybody that knows me knows I don't fear too much. Rhonda's always busting my chops. When I had the pleasure of meeting Gary Silman and Mike Larkin, they watched us cut 15 videos in a row, all the Larry talks you guys see, with no script. We just banged it out. I loved it because I love winging it, and Rhonda was having a stroke. But my father was completely fearless. He was a little crazy. I guess I also inherited that from him. I have an older brother who is very successful, but what I liked about him is he treated everybody good. He didn't talk down to anybody. He didn't act like a big shot. I never really liked big shots. Right? I like to measure people by how they treat everybody, not just people that they need or who are in their class, financially or whatever. And if we're going to talk mentors, some of you guys know I wrote a song, or in the process of getting that one in a movie too, called "Looking for Elvis." But I'll tell you, with the passing of the great Sly Stone and the great Brian Wilson, I'll tell you who was a big mentor to me, because he was a big mentor to everybody that ever picked up a guitar, and that's Chuck Berry. Probably the most underrated musician that will ever live. The way he influenced the Beatles, the way to this day Keith Richards is his bastard stepson. And his lyrics, if you listen to Little Richard and the stuff that was out, Bing Bam Boom, he was writing like Dylan before Dylan ever picked up a guitar. His stuff was advanced, his music. He didn't just influence me, he influenced every band you've ever heard, including the bands that influenced everybody like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. And very similar to some of the stories we heard tonight. But by the way, Tim, he might have been bipolar, because his behavior was so bad, beyond bad. I mean, he went to jail for the Mann Act because he took very young women across state lines to have sex with them. He had a camera in the bathroom. Another guy that was completely out of his mind, but a guy that changed the world. The people on this program, you all mentor me, and I got to tell you, wherever I go, I find a mentor. If their behavior sucks, I learn from it. If their behavior is great, I try to borrow it or steal it or move on. God forbid, Abdul survived. Thank God. Okay, David Rose survived. But if you're in the hospital and they're not sure if you're alive or dead, they look at that line of the brain waves. And if it's stagnant, you're dead. If you're alive, you should be constantly thinking, learning, trying to improve, because that's where the fun is in this. Just absolutely letting it fly, realizing every day we're dying, that we should turn the volume up every day and we should roll. So we're at 7:59. We very much appreciate every one of you. We look forward to working with you and seeing you. Having Ian on is going to be great. I don't know anybody that doesn't like the guy. And boy, does he bring value to everything and everybody. And we're really, really excited about the future and about everything that could possibly be. So every one of you, we thank you. We look forward to seeing you. We're going to keep these topics lively. We're going to make sure everybody gets their say. And really that's it. We really appreciate all of you.